Hello, welcome to my channel. Uh, Today we're gonna be doing a reaction to this group called Angine de Poitrine. I don't know, it's French Canadian. I don't know if you consider that French or not. I don't know if there's that big of a difference between like dialects and junk like that. But I recently have been seeing a lot of like live videos and stuff like that by them. Uh, maybe I've heard some of these songs. I've listened to the songs off of this album that is upcoming. That's not out yet, and it's very much something that I'm into. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm not really familiar with what is even the right term? It's microtonal. That's the word. Microtonal music. Um, I'm sure I would be if I was familiar with sorry, I can hear my neighbors yelling. It's like not even 7 in the morning. They're already yapping. Uh, but there's a King Gizzard album that I know has like microtonal stuff on it. And it's so if I've listened to some King Gizzard albums. I haven't heard Flying Microtonal Banana yet. So maybe that's another video I'll do eventually. Uh, but I don't know. It's just the style that they do is very interesting to me, and it's one of those things that it sounds like something I've never heard before, which is very intriguing to me. Maybe that's not the right word, but maybe should say it's titillating. That'd be a fun word to say, but I don't think it's titillating. That's a bit of a heavy word for what it actually is. Um, but yeah, this I very much enjoy their style from what I've heard of them, and kind of the performance art of it is very unique to me. Like I was a big fan of Daft Punk back in the day, not so much now after they've broken up. I've kind of lent more into Justice. I feel betrayed by Daft Punk for their final album just being a drumless version of Random Access Memories, which is very much a sour note in my mouth, but that's entirely off topic, and so I digress. But oh, I just spent like 30 seconds. I lost my train of thought. I spent like 30 seconds trying to figure out what I was trying to say. I like the kind of characters that they play is very interesting to me. I read someone say that they're supposed to be like aliens, and that's why like on their live performances there are kind of weird, not really words that they're saying, but they're kind of vocalizing things with like a vocoder. And I think that there was some on some one of the songs I heard. Uh, I I think I've heard Sherpa before. That's the only one by name that I think I've seen that I know by them. I'm not I've maybe heard it once, so I'm not really familiar with it. But one thing that I kind of want to get out of this is I want to see how different like a studio version of it is compared to their live kind of performance. Because one thing I noticed is a lot of in the beginning of the tracks when live, they would kind of lay down a guitar line or a bass line and then kind of loop it and kind of develop from there. So I'm curious if, like, say they have the guitar and bass going at the same time, because in a studio setting, you can just, layer on different pieces, and it's not really the same kind of issue that you would have live being a two-man group where, you can only play so many instruments at once. So I'm curious to see if the structure of it is kind of the same as it is on a live kind of performance as it is in these studio recordings. So let's get into Sherpa. Okay, so it sounds like it's starting off with just the guitar line, and then they're gonna start adding in elements. Turn it blind on my end. Kind of like these little false starts they're doing. Getting my head bobbing a little bit. These drum hits. Can't tell if this is two guitar lines at the same time or if it's just one. I'm assuming it's two. Okay. Ooh, that's a dirty bass tone. That sounds really nice. What are these like background noises? And the ambience. Okay, that seems like a nice place to pause it because I don't want to talk over it because it sounds so cool, but I think it's kind of an interesting dichotomy between kind of this I don't want to say simple, but it's very repetitive bass or not bass line. The initial I guess would be rhythm guitar. Would that be what you consider like the initial uh guitar line that they I just smacked the mic, hopefully I didn't make a bunch of noise. A bunch of oh god, I lost my train of thought. The initial guitar line is very repetitive, and I think it's very interesting to hear that like this kind of rhythm guitar like line going over and over again. And on top of that, you have this like very I don't know, is the right word virtuosic kind of second guitar piece going over top of it, which seems to be how a lot of their music is structured. But I just want to have a note out there that while I'm doing that, that's something that it's very, very cool to hear, I think. Like there's not a whole lot of music I listen to that has two guitars in it. Like the only thing I can think of off the top of my head, I guess some of the King Gizzard does too. I keep bringing them up, but what I really wanted to bring up was like the '80s King Crimson lineup up through I guess current age. They've had two guitarists until they broke up. Supposedly they're back together doing something. Hopefully they are. But it's a very different kind of approach to having two guitars in your band when it's only one guitarist. which I know with like looping and stuff like that, like Robert Fripp from King Crimson, he did a lot of stuff with loops and stuff like that back in the day with his Frippertronics. Uh, but from what I've heard of Frippertronics stuff, this is a very, very different uh, style of music. Like when I think of the Frippertronic stuff, I think of like was it Requiem off of Beat uses it. I like the extended cut of that one. It's like 15 minutes long. It's but it's very atmospheric and it sounds cool. But then there's also like the Frippinino No Pussyfooting. That's only one of those albums I've listened to. Which actually, do I still have it out? Yeah, I have a vinyl copy of it. Okay, don't get on me about it, but that's been sitting on my turntable for like a month because I haven't used it in a while and I forgot to take it off. I don't know, maybe think of it just now, but don't judge me. I'm lazy. But regardless, there is a heck of a lot more music to get through. Let's click play. Okay, here's some of those vocalizations I was talking about. I wonder if that's like distortion on the guitar? Like this. Let me see it. Kind of in the same rhythm of the rest of the music. Strange sounding noise. Oh, that's sick. Hard pan to the left. That was weird. I guess it's ping ponging back and forth. Ooh. That was kind of an eerie sound on the. Like scratching the strings. Is that what that is? Very unsettling kind of tone at the end here. Let's just run it through. Hogged. I'm not too familiar with like time signature music theory type of stuff. But there's something about that. I don't know if it's like syncopated rhythms or just weird time signatures. There's just something about this that like it's very off-putting, like off-kilter. Okay. I need to go, but like what? Something about what they just did where it kind of like, I don't know, it went from very kind of disjointed sounding to like coming together like on a dime. Like it just turned from one thing to another. And I don't know if it's just the drums picking up like that, or maybe like the bass comes in a different way, or well, I need to hear that back again because it's okay. It was the drums picking up in the bass, and it just kind of makes it sound. It's very transformative how it went from that first like minute and 15 seconds to here, just from the bass and the drums kicking in like heavier. Okay. God, I'm a sucker for a good riding the cymbal like that. That sounds. I'm a sucker for that. I'm gonna pause it right there just because I just want to say that like this seems like a nightmare to perform. Like I've seen the videos of the guy on stage, like both playing the bass and guitar, and then managing all these pedals with his bare feet. And there's just so much going on that like even as a listener, I'm like, what the hell is even like actually happening? What am I listening to? And like the fact that like this guy can keep track of all this shit, play it at the same time, all the while like looping and keeping in time with the drums on the loops. Especially when like from I assume that these guys are playing in weird time signatures. Like, that just seems... I don't even have a word for it, but it's damn impressive that these people are able to do this shit. Kind of a call and response at the beginning here. This is an 8-minute track. Longest one on here. Kind of a cool groove with the drums and the guitar. Panning vocals. Okay, with guitars loop. Now he's playing another line. Waiting for that bass to kick in. Oh, I love that bass tone. Ooh, I love that. That's such a cool sounding riff. I will say, that riff, it doesn't sound like it at all, but like my first impression of that is the I think it's the opening guitar line of Siberian Kachu by Yes. There's just something about it that sounded like that to me. It like gave me heavy vibes from that, and like I'm assuming that line is going to get repeated more throughout this song, but in Siberian Kachu, I think it's only repeated a couple of times, like you count on your fingers, and that's one of those things where I'm like, it's such a cool sounding guitar line. Just keep using it, which that has nothing to do with the music that we're listening to right now, but it's one of those things where you capture lightning in a bottle, may as well use it a little bit. And whereas Yes was very sparing with it on that song, these guys seem to have a pretty good idea of how to use this riff. Meds. That was weird sounding. That kind of sounds like they're like playing out of time with each other. Like, I don't mean to keep bringing up King Crimson, but like it reminds me a little bit of Frame by Frame, where like they're playing in different time signatures, and it scratches a weird itch in your brain that's very, very interesting and cool to listen to. Ooh, this is like... I have never heard a cacophony of sounds quite like that in my life. That was bizarre in like the best way possible. I don't even know what the hell I'm listening to. Like this is beyond what I was expecting out of this. Like, yeah, I buy it. These guys are aliens. They're not writing their songs how people do. I buy it. You know, they're living the dream, not the dream. They're living their the roles that they're playing, even in the composition part of the act. Now let's get back into this very interesting sounding next part. Very slowing it down. It's interesting to have two different guitar parts like panned left and right at the same time like that. I guess just the tones that there is. I mean, I don't. Are they harmonizing with each other, or are they playing? Like, it doesn't sound like they're playing the same notes. Like I don't, I'm not. I'm not a music player. I don't know how to identify an A from a B. But like they didn't, and they're probably not even playing, like a regular Western scale, the guitar. So they didn't sound alike. But like, I gotta wonder like where they come up with this shit, like in terms of like what fits together, because it sounds a little dissonant, but maybe it's just those tones aren't normal, like those notes aren't normal for Western listening ears. I'm curious. Where is this building to? I think it's an interesting choice to have a long section like that that doesn't really build into a crescendo or like, you know, a proper coda. Like, I guess you could call that section the coda, but like it at on a whole, I'd say that song is very much a high note just because of that, like, this very interesting section. I feel like I talked about it in the middle of the song, but I don't know. I was thinking about it, and it kind of gave to me the part in the song "Dear Allen" by Justice, where it kind of keeps looping and speeding up, and it just kind of falls apart. Like that section where it was just very strange parts altogether. Like, I'm doing a horrible way of explaining it, but like I'm pretty sure I paused and talked about how bizarre it was sounding to me. But that part, it kind of had the same effect to me there that part in Dear Allen had to me the first time I listened to it. It was very strange, but like enticing at the same time. I'm sure that there's some word that is in my vocabulary. I just can't think of it right now. To describe the way it makes me feel. But this is definitely just an album full of sounds that I don't think I would have ever heard elsewhere. So let's go to Baba Hotel. I know that word, hotel. The rest of these titles, I have no idea if they're even real words or not. In any language. On Earth, at least. These could be made up alien words. Just figured I'd pause at about 2 minutes there. Just this one's not really doing anything for me. I just want to put that out there. You know, not everybody's gonna be perfect. You know, it's not bad, but it's just there's not a whole lot that's really drawn me in on this one so far. I mean, there's still 4.5 minutes left, So I am very hopeful that something happens that is gonna draw me in and make me like, damn, I should have kept my mouth shut. And I'm hoping to God that's true. But we're just gonna have to find out. That was stupid. I'm usually asleep at this time. That was my morning alarm just went off, so I had to go across the room and shut it off. Like my phone's still on the charger. Something's about to happen. Never mind, it's just the same part again. A Baba Hotel. Now, it's hypocritical for me as a fan of Swans to say this, but that one was just too repetitive, I think, which is entirely a criticism people have of Swans. But I just think what they were repeating on this just wasn't really doing a whole lot for me. With the caveat that like last minute 30 seconds really brought it something else to me. And I don't want to say saved the whole song, but at the very least made me not regret listening to it. Those first 3 songs I can see myself going back to pretty frequently. This one, probably only if I'm listening to the whole album all the way through, which is, I'm not much of a playlist person. I usually listen to a full album when I listen to music. So, if I come back to this album, I'm going to be hearing it. But it'll be coming back, I wouldn't say in spite of it, because that would make it sound like I hated the song. I didn't hate it. It just wasn't anything special, in my opinion, compared to those first 3 songs, besides that last minute or so of the song. If it was half the length, maybe not even half the length, maybe 4 minutes instead of 6 minutes, it would be more forgivable to me. But it just, you can probably see just on my face in the reaction that, I wasn't fucking with it, except for that last minute or so, because I'm pretty sure I started bobbing my head to it, because that last minute, it was pretty fucking good. But the other 5 minutes or so, not so much to me. So let's get into Sahardnia. That's so hard to say. Like every title on this album. Ooh. Well, that is sick. the best song on the album, guys. That one. It was very. I don't know. I was whispering there, but it was. Uh, I was talking shit on a Baba Hotel for being repetitive. So was Sahardnia, but like, I that was way. It was almost like a sound collage kind of thing with all these random effects going on. I shouldn't say effects, but like, these are random because I assume it was very calculated when they were putting it together. But it's very eclectic collection of sounds and pieces going on that get building off of each other that really just made it something special, I think. I mean, even without it developing into what it develops into, just at the beginning, that like opening instrumental part, it was, the tone of it was very dark and like gritty sounding, and it was just very cool. It was a very cool song. Like the bass line and all that, it was very cool sounding. Like just in the first 10 seconds. I feel like I'll have to go back and look at it when I'm editing this. But like, I feel like right in those first few seconds, I just knew something was coming, and like, I had my eyes closed just feeling it for most of that song. I don't think I even said anything during the song, which was like a conscious thing where I was like, I don't even want to interrupt this. Like, this is just, it just goes hard as shit. I can see why that's the second most listened to song off of here, which I disagree with. It should be number one, but I will take second place if I have to. And so that just leaves Laberek. Hopefully we can bring it home, guys. Strong start. Very growly bass. I'm a little mixed on that one. Wasn't bad. I liked more than the Baba Hotel. Uh, However, just I don't think it was as strong as a lot of the other tracks on here are to me. Uh, wasn't wasn't the perfect closer that I was really hoping for. I think would be the best way to put it. Like that. That's definitely like, I could put it in the on the background. Wouldn't mind. But don't really see myself having the active listening ears on for that one every time I hear it, like I would for some of the other songs on here. I had the thought. I want to say, around 1 to 2 minutes in, I was like, it feels like it's building up to nothing, and it kind of did. It kind of didn't really build up to anything as grandiose as I was hoping for. That jump cut right there is purely because the USB cable for my camera is a little bit broken. And before I started recording this, I'm surprised it lasted until now, because it's been like an hour that I've been reacting to this. So I think, there are certainly a lot of things I could say about this. But, as a layman, I'm not going to have the most insightful sort of insight into this. Overall, I think it's a good album. I'm excited for Volume 2. I think that's what the next one's gonna be called. This one's Volume 1. And they've made me a fan. Not just from this album alone, like listening to what was the one off of here called Fabiank is very, very, very good. Like that one fucking rocks. And I'd say that's probably just that song alone is probably better than almost anything on here. So like if they keep that up, like they are set for creating something really, really compelling whenever the rest of this album, Volume 2, drops. And it's going to be really interesting to see. Because I saw on Instagram that they're coming to the U.S. It looked like it was just in New York City, so I'm not going to be able to see them. But, they come around where I am, I might buy a ticket. That's all I'll say. I'm pretty sold on them, at least, on most of their music. I liked 4 out of 6 on here a lot. This one I didn't really like. This one I was okay with. I wouldn't say I dislike any of them, but this one I'm definitely probably not going back to. This one, I could take it or leave it. It's nothing special, but it's not bad, But like 1 through 3, number 5 especially, Chef's Kiss. I don't know the names of the guys in here, but like, I'd give him a Chef's Kiss or that one. That one, something special. But if you have any thoughts on this album, on this band, if you have any stories, if you have anything you want to say about what I had to say, if you have any agreements or disagreements, feel free to let your voice be heard down in the comments or, on the like and dislike bar. Those are the best ways to tell me if I'm doing this right. Have a good rest of your day, I guess. My day's just getting started. I gotta go to work soon. Heck of a way to spend this morning listening to this crazy shit. I'll definitely have to buy a better USB cable on my way home because I don't want to keep dealing with this shit. Well, that's all from me. And Angine de Poitrine. I told myself I wasn't going to say it again, and then I did. Can't help myself. Because I know I'm not saying it right. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Makes me feel stupid for not saying it right. Sorry for keep looking over in that direction. That's where my screen for OBS is. So I don't know. I just look at myself just to make sure things are looking all right, especially with my camera bugging out. But yeah, that's all for me. Give it a thumbs up. This album is I can't see it because this album gets a thumbs up from me. I should look at the camera and not at myself. This album gets a thumbs up from me. What the fuck am I doing?